Hi, I'm Dr. Wynn. Welcome to Health Chat. Today we're going to be talking about a hot topic. We're going to be talking about how to lose weight. And the key, I'm going to give you the secret here. The secret is to eat less and move more. I know, you're sitting there thinking, what? That's not a secret. Well, it's the only way you can lose weight. All these diets that will tell you all the different things that you can do, eat grapefruit for a week and you can lose weight, all that kind of stuff. It all breaks down to eating less and moving more. Because if you have fewer calories in than your body needs, you will lose weight. So how do you know how many calories your body needs? There's all these different formulas as far as how you calculate your caloric requirement in a day. But what I always tell people, the easiest way to measure how many calories you need is to take your current body weight multiplied by 10. That's the number of calories it takes to maintain your current weight if you are a pretty sedentary person. If you are a super active person, it's more than that. But for a particularly sedentary person, just take your current body weight, multiply it by 10. That will maintain your current weight. So how do you lose weight? If you subtract 500 from that number, then that's the number of calories you need to take in a day to lose 1 pound a week. Because 3,500 calories averages out to be about a pound. So 500 calories less than your maintenance calorie needs per day, 3,500 calories in a week, 1 pound a week. So that's the easiest way to think about how to lose weight. So another way you want to think about it, you do want to avoid those crash diet, those crazy things, because they don't teach you how to eat properly in the future. Because if you go on one of these, do nothing but this for a week or a month or something like that, when you're done with it, you can't wait to go back to eating pizza or donuts or whatever your favorite food was, because the whole time you've been doing the diet, all you've been thinking about is, I can't wait to get off this diet so I can eat pizza, or I can't wait to get off this diet. And as soon as you're feeling deprived, that's the first thing you're going to want to go back to. Instead, you want to figure out a way to eat healthier over the long term. And you want to find a way to find those favorite treats that you have, to eat them in moderation, to eat them in your regular diet, because you don't want to think, I can never have chocolate cake again. You want to say, okay, well, I'm just going to have a little tiny piece of chocolate cake, but I'm also going to eat a salad or a healthier meal when I have that pizza cake. I'm not going to have 3 slices of pizza and French fries and then a big old piece of chocolate cake. So you do want to have those favorite foods, but in moderation. So you want to figure out a way to make it work in a healthy diet where you can still lose weight. And so when you're calculating your calories and you figured out, okay, I need to eat 1,500 calories a day, you then need to figure out, okay, well, what's 1,500 calories? How do I figure out what I'm actually taking in? Because the vast majority of people greatly underestimate the amount of calories in things. So you really want to look up the calorie counts of everything that you take in when you're trying to lose weight. There are lots of apps you can get for your phone that will help you calculate calories. There are websites you can go to, plenty of books, so there's lots of different resources out there that you can figure out what the calorie counts of foods are. The next part of that, however, is once you look up the calorie counts, is you want to make sure that what they say the calorie count is what you're actually eating. For example, if it says that, half a cup of vegetables is 70 calories, you want to make sure that you're actually eating half a cup and not a cup, not 2 cups, all that kind of stuff. So there are lots of different ways that you can figure out how much you're actually eating. The easiest way is to weigh and measure your foods. You want to get a food scale. You can get them anywhere. Any of the stores that sell kitchen stuff will sell food scales, and they come in various sizes, and they're usually not that big. And you just kind of put them on your counter, and then you can weigh out your proteins. I like to weigh out anything that I can't measure out easily. So I will use it to weigh out crackers or potato chips or things like that. So I'm not playing the game of, well, those 2 halves kind of match up to, I think that's probably 1 chip, and counting out chips, because on the package it'll say a serving is 27 potato chips or 1 ounce. I just find it easier put them in a bowl, measure out 1 ounce, and that way I know I'm actually getting the full serving. And here's a little trick. A lot of times when you weigh it out, it actually is more than the number that it says. So if it says it's 27 or 1 ounce, the 1 ounce is usually more than actually 27. So weighing it out actually gets you more food, and you still feel like you're getting the right number of calories. Also get a bunch of measuring cups, measuring spoons. Those are the easiest ways so you can figure out what half a cup of vegetables is or what a cup of rice is. And that way, the more you measure out and weigh out your food, it actually trains your eye so that when you are at a friend's house or when you are at a restaurant and you can't pull out your trusty food scale to figure out if that steak is 6 ounces or 8 ounces or 4 ounces, then if you've been weighing your food at home, you know what a 4-ounce piece of meat looks like, and you can say, oh, well, that's 8 ounces right there, so let me just cut that in half and take the other half home. Because the more you weigh and measure things, the better you are at estimating when you do need to estimate. But there are lots of other little props that you can use to figure out what a proper portion size actually is. So I have some props that I'm going to show you some different things so you can kind of get an idea of what these things look like. So for cooked vegetables, things like greens or spinach and things like that, a proper portion size is about a 1/4 cup, and that's about the size of your average size light bulb. So this much here is about a 1/4 cup. So if your mound of vegetables is about that size, it's about a 1/4 cup. A pancake or a waffle is about the size of an average CD. So if you know what CD size, about that size. So that's what a proper waffle or pancake size looks like. Not the great big ones that you get at your favorite diner, because those are way bigger than they need to be. Also, a bagel. The proper size of a bagel is a hockey puck, this size right here. A lot of times when you see bagels this size in the stores nowadays, they'll be called mini bagels, but this is actually what a bagel size should be. If you get one of the bagels that are larger than this, a proper portion size would be half a bagel. So some people are okay with that. Some people say, oh, I can't eat a bagel unless I'm eating a whole bagel. So for that, if you're one of those people, I would suggest you get one of the mini bagels. That way you can have both sides. A teaspoon, so a teaspoon of, say, peanut butter or something like that, is about the size of 1 dice, which is about the size of half of this domino. So about that. That's about a teaspoon right there. 1 ounce, so 1 ounce of cheese or something like that is 2. So that'd be twice the size. So that's about that. So that's about 1 ounce. So if you're eating cubes of cheese or something like that. And you always will see in lists of calories 1 small fruit. And I know you play the game that you get the biggest apple, the biggest orange, and say, oh, it says I can have one fruit. But when they say a small fruit, they mean a small fruit. Small fruit is about the size of a tennis ball. So it's pretty small, but that's the proper size. If you get a bigger fruit than this, you can either cut it in half or just kind of just 2 servings. I mean, there's nothing that says you can't have 2 servings, but you do need to own up to the fact that you're having 2 servings. A proper portion size of pasta, rice, or raw vegetables or fruits, so chopped up vegetables, carrot sticks, chopped up fruit, things like that. Proper portion size for that is about a cup, which is about the size of a softball. So I have my softball here, so that's a cup. So if the mound is about this size, sitting here like that, that's about 1 cup. And then you'll also see them say, when you're eating a baked potato, a small baked potato. Same thing with the fruit. Get the big, humongous potato, well, I'm having 1 potato. When they say a small potato, they mean about the size of your average computer mouse. So potato this size is a small potato. Again, if you have a potato that's bigger than this, then you either just cut it in half and half, or just kind of just 2 servings. But you do really want to watch the portion sizes, because that's what's going to make you accountable for the number of calories that you take in. And if you make sure you get the number of calories in, then that's what's going to get you to your goal. I always tell patients that knowledge is power. If you don't know what you're eating, you're not going to know what you're taking in. You're not going to know your calories, so you're not going to know if you're over or if you're under. Because one thing that sometimes people will think about when they're trying to lose weight is, well, it says that I can have 1,500 calories, so if I eat 1,200 calories, then that means I will lose weight faster. Well, that's not necessarily true, because if you have too few calories, then you're not getting either all the nutrients you need, or you're not getting enough calories, and your body will actually start to break down. You won't be as efficient a machine as you would be if you did not have too few calories. Another trick that I like to tell patients about when they're trying to watch their calorie counts is watch the size of the plate that you're eating on, because a lot of times when I go over my demonstration and tell people what their proper portion sizes is, they will put it on this big, huge dinner plate, and they will say, I can't eat just that little amount of food, because they're eating with their eyes first. They're used to these huge portions, so when they see a proper portion, then they're thinking, oh, that's too small, that's not going to fill me up. So a couple of different things you can do about that. You can use a smaller plate. A proper plate size is about 9 to 10 inches. Some of the big dinner plates are really big, and those are too big, because what we typically do is, if there's space on the plate, we're going to fill it with something. So we're going to fill it with food, and that just is going to make the portions bigger than they should be. So I always tell people to try to get a plate about 9 to 10 inches in diameter. And then when you are putting food on your plate, you want to make sure that you get the proper amount of food on your plate. So this is a plate. This is about 9 inches in diameter across, this whole plate. And so you want to have half your plate be your fruits and your vegetables, because that's your healthier food, lots of fiber, lots of vitamins and minerals and the healthy stuff, and very few calories. So you want half your plate to be your fruits and your vegetables. You want half of the plate to be your healthy whole grains. That's your pasta, your rice, your bread, your whole grain bread, things like that. And you only want a quarter of your plate to be your protein, because your protein should be about 4 ounces or so, 3 to 4 ounces. So you want to try to keep this plate in mind when you're thinking about how much food you want to put on your plate, because the typical American diet is reversed. We typically have the protein over here, and then the fruits and vegetables in one of these smaller sections. Sometimes it's even smaller than that. So you want to make sure that you get lots of fruits and vegetables, less protein, and then make sure you're having the whole grains as opposed to the white grains, because the more refined, the white pasta, white bread, things like that, it's had all the fiber stripped out. And it's that fiber that will keep you full longer. So that's why you want to have the whole grain pasta, the whole grain bread, the brown rice as opposed to the white rice. It does take some people sometimes a little time to get used to the different texture, because the whole grain pasta and the brown rice is typically a little chewier, but that is the fiber that you're feeling, and that's what's going to help you stay full longer. Because a lot of times when you have the more processed carbohydrates, your body burns them up really quickly, and then you get hungry again. So things with a lot of protein and things with a lot of fiber are the things that will keep you full longer. Now, we've talked a lot about the portion sizes, and I've given you lots of props and things to think about when you're doing that. One other prop I did not show you is that the proper portion size for meat is about 3 to 4 ounces, as I said, and that'd be about the size of a deck of cards. Typical deck of cards is about this size, so that's about the proper portion size for meat. But sometimes either you don't remember what a light bulb looked like, or you don't remember what a softball looked like, or you're sitting in a restaurant and you say, now, was the protein the cards, or was that you get confused as far as what you're supposed to think about. One thing you always have with you, you don't have to have your food scale when you're sitting at the restaurant. You don't have to think about hockey pucks and card decks and all that kind of stuff. You have one thing with you all the time, and that is your hand. You can use your hand as a guide as far as proper portion sizes for different things. So let me show you this. First thing that I want to show you is what a tablespoon looks like. So that would be your thumb, and that's your thumb from this first knuckle. Actually, it's your whole thumb. So from this knuckle here to the tip of your thumb is a tablespoon. So a tablespoon of salad dressing, a tablespoon of peanut butter, a tablespoon of whatever condiment, tablespoon of cheese, anything like that. If you think about a tablespoon portion, think about the size of your thumb. The next one would be a teaspoon. So a teaspoon, again, thinking about things like condiments or cheese or peanut butter, things like that. A teaspoon is your finger. So you can think of it as that first little part of your finger. right there. So that's from that first little knuckle there up to the tip is a teaspoon. So when you're looking at something on a plate, you can compare that to the size of your finger. Last thing, back to our friend the meat. 3 to 4 ounces of meat. That would be the palm of your hand. So that whole side of your palm of your hand as shown here. So the whole palm of your hand, depending on the size of your hand, is about 3 to 4 ounces. And you do have to use your own hand. Ladies, you can't use your big 6'4" husband's hand. You have to use your own hand because that is what will guesstimate for you the proper portion size. Last thing is 1 ounce. So what does 1 ounce look like? Again, that could be for cheese or something like that, something more of a condiment. And so 1 ounce, again, the whole thumb. Okay, so we've talked about portion size. We've talked about how many calories you need to eat. We've talked about weighing and measuring out your portions so you make sure that you have the right portions. And I don't know if you remember when we talked at the beginning, I said eat less, move more. So it's not just about what you eat, it's also about getting up and exercising, because that 500 calories a day that you need to decrease your calories by, it could either be from eating 500 calories fewer than you had been, it can be burning 500 calories more of exercise, or it can be some combination thereof. So you also want to think about how many calories you burn. Again, those same websites and books and apps will help you calculate the number of calories you burn. What I always like to suggest to people is that you get a heart rate monitor. There are lots of different kinds of heart rate monitors. The one I personally like to use is the old-fashioned strap that goes across your chest, and it has a monitor that you wear like a wristwatch, and you put in your age, your sex, your height, your weight, and then it calculates the number of calories you burn while you're exercising. So that way you can figure out if, when you go out for a walk, if you're burning 100 calories for that walk, or 300 calories, or 600 calories, because a lot of times when you look up the calories counts for exercise, it will say, you know, light activity or moderate exercise or things like that. A heart rate monitor, you won't have to figure out, am I working hard, am I not working hard, because everyone typically will try to overestimate. People tend to underestimate the calories they eat, and they tend to overestimate the calories that they burn. Because some apps and websites will calculate the number of calories an activity will burn based on how much food you have, how many calories you burn, or how much food you have to eat in comparison. So for instance, if you have a slice of pizza, it will say you have to jog for X number of minutes to burn off that one slice of pizza. Sometimes people find that motivating and enlightening, because they didn't really realize that they're not burning as many calories as they think they are when they're exercising. Another thing you can do to improve your exercise level, especially if you are not someone that exercises on a regular basis, is just get a plain old pedometer, and that will measure your steps. I'm sure you've probably heard about the 10,000 steps, which has been in the news for several years as far as a goal. That averages to about 5 miles per day of walking. And the average person who is a typical couch potato now is not going to get up one day, slap a pedometer on, and start getting 10,000 steps. I always suggest people to start off slow. So get a pedometer, wear it for a week or so, and don't change anything, just to see how active you are currently. And then increase that average by 1,000 steps. So say you wear it that first week and you're only getting 2,000 steps a week. That's fine. It's where you are, so you start with where you are. So if you're getting 2,000 steps currently, then next week strive for getting 3,000 steps a day. And then once you are getting that 3,000 steps routinely, and it's getting easier to get that 3,000 steps in, then your next goal will take it up to 4,000 steps. And then work on that until 4,000 steps is easy, then go up to 5. And do that gradually to eventually getting up to 10,000 steps. Because one problem that people have when they're first starting to try to get into shape or watch their weight or lose weight is they want to do everything all at the same time right away. They want to go from 0 to 60 in 2 days. But the problem with that is either if it's activity, if it's exercise, you might injure yourself, or with both food or exercise, you might get frustrated and overwhelmed, and then you just say the heck with the whole thing, and then you just stop, and then you just go back to what you were doing before. So I've given you lots of ideas as far as watching your portions and exercising and all that kind of stuff, but I don't want you to think that you have to do all of it all at once right away to lose weight. Because the one thing you do want to think about is that you did not lose the weight, you did not gain the weight overnight, so you should not expect to lose the weight overnight. In fact, if you focus on losing weight, you will actually lose the weight most of the time faster than you gained it. Because most times if you're gaining weight, you're not really thinking about that you're gaining weight until one day you put on a blouse or a pair of pants or a suit and realize, hey, this fit a year ago and this doesn't fit now. So, but when you're focusing on losing weight and you're losing that half a pound to a pound or 2 pounds a week, whatever it averages out to be, that's actually going to be losing weight faster than you gained it because you didn't gain it that quickly. So you want to kind of be kind to yourself and think about the fact that, yes, I'm losing. Okay, I'm not losing as fast as I thought I was going to lose, but I am still losing, and I'm still losing faster than I gained it. Because a lot of times also people have these unrealistic expectations. Oh, I'm going to lose 50 pounds by the summer, or I'm going to lose 30 pounds by my high school reunion in 6 weeks, or, so you want to make sure that you have realistic expectations. But most times people, if you lose 5% of your starting body weight, whatever that is, that's when you start getting those health benefits. Your blood pressure starts coming down. If you're a diabetic, your blood sugar starts coming down. If you have arthritis, your knees and your joints start feeling better. All those kind of things start coming up with only a 5% body weight loss. And if you're 150 pounds, that's only 7 pounds. So it's not a huge amount of weight to lose to start seeing those health benefits. And yes, a lot of people want to lose more than that, but you can always have that big end game goal in mind, but you want to break it up into smaller goals. So your first goal could be, I'm going to lose 5 pounds, or I'm going to lose 5% of my body weight, or I'm going to lose, 10 pounds in this month or this 6 months, or because you don't want to put a time limit on it. You want to say, I'm going to try to get to this goal. I'm going to try to get to this size, or those kind of things, incremental goals. And then once you reach that goal, you say, okay, now I want to lose another 10 pounds, or now I want to lose 10% of my body weight since I lost 5%. So you want to always keep the long-term goal, the final goal in mind, but you don't want to focus on the final goal, because if you're someone who needs to lose a significant amount of weight, you might be daunted by that. You might say, I can't lose 100 pounds. There's no way I can lose 100 pounds. Well, you can lose 10 pounds, or you can lose 5 pounds. And if you focus on that, then you say, okay, I did that, so now let me go on and lose the next 5 pounds. And then you focus on that, okay, now I've lost 10 pounds, and let me try losing the next 5 pounds. And then if you focus on those short-term goals, you're creeping closer and closer to that long-term goal without thinking about the large amount that you might need to lose. So, the key to exercise is you want to find something that you find enjoyable. You don't want to go to the gym if you're not a gym person. You don't want to start running if you're not a running person. You want to find something that you can enjoy and that's something that you can stick with. The same thing with food. If you are someone that does not like a certain amount of food, certain type of food, even though it's quote-unquote healthy and good for you, don't eat it. If you don't like spinach, don't eat spinach. If you don't like oranges, don't eat oranges. There are plenty of other things that you can eat that are healthy. And you can always change up the things that you are eating to make them healthier. If you're someone who likes pizza, put more vegetables on your pizza. Have a thin crust as opposed to a deep dish. Use a whole wheat crust. Use a low-fat cheese. If you like chocolate cake, use an artificial sweetener or sweeten it with applesauce, or there's all kinds of different recipes and things that you can use to take foods that you love and make them healthier, and so you can still have them as part of your lifestyle going forward. Because the goal is to live to eat to live, not live to eat. You want to have food be your friend. You don't want to think of it as an enemy, but you want to be healthy, but you want to do it in a smart way and a way that you can keep the weight off. You don't want it to be something where you lose a lot of weight, you work really hard, and then you go back to your old habits, which is another reason that you want to make these changes gradually, because if you do them gradually, then they are more likely to stick and become part of your lifestyle going forward, and that way you can maintain a healthy weight for the rest of your life. So I hope this has helped. I hope this has spurred you to get out there and make those healthy lifestyle changes and watch those portions and feel better and just be healthier. I'm Dr. Alancia Wynn. This has been Health Chat. It's been a pleasure spending time with you today, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.